Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're about to start. If you want to leave in the chat, where are you from and from where are you watching us? We're so happy to have you all here. And we would love to get to know you better. I've also shared a poll that should appear on your screen as well, so we get to know you better and we know if you're already a Real Estate IQ subscriber and if you would like to have a free demonstration of our tools together with a one-on-one consultation of our services. So thank you, and we appreciate your answers. So moving forward, we are Real Estate IQ. We're happy to have you here today, so let's get started. We have more than 500 webinars hosted. We have 12,000 plus registered attendees and 100 plus keynote speakers. So let me tell you a little bit more about who we are. We are a lead generation software and solutions company focused on helping real estate investors like you kickstart their businesses. So we strive to become the platform and resource to help them achieve their real estate dream. And what we do, we provide real estate solutions to make deals come true. We offer a suite of lead generation, automation tools, educational content, and additional services to the real estate industry to help entrepreneurs kickstart and grow their businesses. So this is a streamline of our solutions. So we offer off-market leads, find the freshest data mine straight from the card houses daily on our data portal. We also offer you REI education led by experts and training on our solutions, skip tracing, get homeowners contact information effortlessly, CRM, perfect to track listings and marketing campaigns, virtual assistants, virtual support for administrative tasks, customer service, and more. Fire, personalized financial checkups and consultancy, EVA, run real estate comps in seconds with our renewed evaluation CMA. CLM, we now provide custom off-market data mining all over 50 states. Last but not least, the membership that its tailored plans to meet every investor's needs. So you can scan the QR code because today we bring you this golden lead to grow your business. So you can contact us to learn more and you can sign up to get full address and submit your deals to advertise. So this is the deal of the day. And you can also join us in our newsletter so you can stay informed with Real Estate IQ's new weekly newsletter, get market insights, data updates, and event highlights, all you need for successful real estate investments. So feel free to join us in our community so you don't miss any of our weekly webinars and in-person events. And you can also request a consultation, a complimentary 30-minute one-on-one demo of Real Estate IQ solutions with one of our experts. We'll walk you through everything you need to know. For more information, you can contact Bracenet at realestateIQ.co. Also, scan the QR code that appears on the screen and answer the poll that should appear on your screen as well. These are our social media accounts where you can follow us as well. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and you can use the QR codes that appear below of each icon so you can join us in our community. And last but not least, this is the Academy, Learning Made Easy. Here you can find our best webinars and short courses so you can stream it at any time and from wherever you are based. So you can log in to stream. And for learning more, please let us know. I don't want to make you lose more time. Thank you again, everybody, for being with us today. We have the amazing Misty with us talking about invest using none of your own money today. So we are super enthusiastic of counting with her today. So feel free to write down all your questions and inquiries in the Q&A box or the chat box so Misty is able to answer them as soon as possible. So moving forward to you, Misty. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. How is everybody doing? I hope we're doing well. I'm so excited to be here and have this wonderful opportunity to speak to all of you and share. Hey, Pam, what's up, girl? I love it. I see some familiar faces that are here today, so I'm super excited. I see some, or faces. I see some, I don't see your faces. I wish I could, but I see some familiar names, and I'm excited to get to know everybody else as well. One thing I love to do on these, hey, Ashley, is have all of you just state where you're from. This is a great networking opportunity for all of you as well. So if you can share where you're from, hey, Elizabeth. So then everybody can kind of see how we're doing. Hey, Lynette. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Love it. So go ahead and share in the chat where you're from. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then let me just make sure I have everything pulled up so that I think I can see chat and questions. Definitely please ask questions along the way. I'm pretty much an open book in what I share in regards to my real estate investing experience, business. I'm also a mindset coach. So, feel free to ask away. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we will get rocking and rolling. So hopefully everybody can see. I'm going to do from beginning. Can I get a yes in the chat or in regards to if you can see my screen, the opening slide with a QR code? Hopefully. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness, Brooklyn, New York. Love it. Awesome. Hey, Rachel. I see some of my coaching clients on here. So exciting. So hello to everybody. Looks like we got Cypress, Palm Beach, Florida, Houston, Friendswood, all over. So I love it. If you'd also like to share in the chat what type of investing you do, that would be amazing too. Because again, networking opportunity. Maybe we can connect some wholesalers with some buyers. Maybe there's some partnering opportunities. We're going to talk about all of that today. So what we're going to talk about in this particular webinar is how to invest using none of your own money. One of the things that people, I have conversations almost every day with women wanting to get into this industry, or just people in general, but I'm mostly talking with women, and they think they have to grow a money tree in their backyard to get into real estate investing. And that just simply is not true. And I've experienced it in my own business right out the gate. We were not using our own money on some of our deals, and now we only use other people's money or loans. And so it's been an amazing experience to grow our business this way. Our investors that we work with become like family, and it's way more fun doing business with family. So I'm going to teach you all of the ways that my husband and I, who've been doing this for the last over 7 years now, have really, used our tools, resources, skill sets, and relationships to invest without using our own money, so that you can actually get started on doing this right away. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in there. If I just put up a QR code there, it does go to my website for the Her Mindset Matters REI group. If you want to check that out, cool. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to ask one thing of all of you. If you could please put away the phones, if possible, put away any distractions. This is 1 hour to really excel yourself in your business. Okay, I'm going to be sharing some really good nuggets of information. And especially if you are feeling like money is holding you back in getting started in real estate investing or leveling up in your real estate investing business, you're going to want to tune in. Okay, so have the phone away, put the do not disturb on, put the kids in the other room if you're at home, whatever you need to do. I definitely am encouraging questions. You can do questions throughout, since I have, everything open right now. And please feel free to screenshot. This is for you to take and do whatever you want with it. I don't hold my cards close to my chest. I feel like there is enough to go around for everybody. So like I said, I'm an open book and I will share. So what am I going to teach you today, right? I'm going to teach you how to go from having zero capital, none, okay, none, to actually, invest in real estate, leveraging your skill set, relationships, and most importantly, other people's money, okay? Doesn't matter if you have any experience at all or not, okay? So how does this sound to everybody? Is this something everybody wants to learn about? Go ahead and drop in the chat how you're feeling about learning this. This is also exactly what I teach the women that I coach and mentor. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a small group coaching program called the Her Mindset Matters REI Tribe. That's what we call ourselves, a tribe for life. And here's just some examples of how some of our tribe members have been able to jump into multiple flips together, utilizing each other's money, right? Utilizing the relationships that they have built within the community. We had 3 tribe members jump into 3 rehabs together, and then they actually added a 4th rehab to that. And they were utilizing private money and hard money. Okay. Then we have Natalie and Maria who went door knocking, and the first house they door knocked, they actually got under contract. I still am in shock to this day. But they teamed up with investors Cami and Kyle. And Cami and Kyle brought the money to this flip. It was their first flip. They brought the money and the experience, and it was an amazing learning experience for both Natalie and Maria. And now they've done multiple deals. Sharon here is actually a co-author in a book. I worked one-on-one with her and her husband, and they have grown their flip portfolio and short-term rental portfolio. And now they're co-authors in a book. They speak on panels, and they have utilized private money and hard money as well. Diamond is now a stay-at-home mom. She's a full-time investor and agent. She left corporate America right after she had her first kid, and we got her set up to really grow her business. And now she has baby number 2. And I swear that this family is traveling the world all the time. They've set up, they have a passive income coming in through their rentals. They are doing some flips as well. And she could not be happier. And her husband is actually an agent now on her team as well. So it's a whole big family affair. And she has acquired properties utilizing creative financing through sub-2, through owner financing, utilizing other people's money and loan opportunities as well. And Adora here, I've been working one-on-one with Adora for now over 2.5 years. We have grown her rental portfolio. She's actually pursuing her first big flip. Like, I'm talking 4,000 square feet. The rehab is probably going to be close to $300,000. She could not be more excited. And guess what, guys? She got 100% financing on this project. 100% financing. No money to the closing table. Okay. So when I say this information can be life-changing, it truly can be life-changing. So she could not be more excited about this project. She has an amazing team around her, including her private money lender, who lent her 100% financing on purchase and rehab for this project. And then I just wanted to show a picture of some of our community members, tribe members coming together to team up on things like marketing campaigns and deals together. So this is the power of a community. This is the power of education. This is the power of having a coach and mentor. All of these things where you think that it could hold you back, more specifically money. We're talking money. It is not. It can absolutely excel you forward regardless how much you have and or don't have, right? And you can move forward in your business or even level up in your business. And this is how my husband and I actually got started 7 years ago. It was 7 years in November of last year. And we have done a handful of flips. We've wholesale deals. Our primary focus now is new construction and development, both in commercial and residential. We've started to venture into the commercial world. We've built over 30 units. We have 12 more that are currently in design. We are actively designing also a co-living project. And we're also in the process of negotiating a lot of land in a few different places. One in Magnolia, we have some land in Cypress where we're going to be actually building build-to-rent subdivisions or getting the lots build ready for other builders to come in and build and sell to homeowners. We've done all of this without our own money, okay? So it's absolutely possible, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're dreaming. So let's go ahead and dig into the nitty-gritty here. So what can you expect to leave with today, okay? Learning how to invest, right, in real estate using none of your own money. Learning how to invest in real estate, leveraging those relationships that I was just talking about with all of our tribe members and how they're connecting with each other and really growing their businesses together. Partnerships and using other people's money, right? Learning how to invest in real estate using your skill set and your strengths. This is something I don't feel like is talked about enough, and it's very powerful. You can leverage skill sets that literally have nothing to do with real estate investing. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then obviously I'm going to teach you also how to learn how to build capital through wholesaling. So a lot of the women that I work with, they do want to start building some of their own capital or have some passive income. Well, not passive because you're active going out there wholesaling, but have some income coming in, maybe to even replace a W-2 or just, you know, create a little pot of money that they can then go maybe passively invest into a multifamily or somebody else's project, right, as a private money lender. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about that too. Okay, so who's ready to dive into all of this? Go ahead and drop in the chat if you're excited. I know, I hope you can tell I'm super excited. I love talking about this stuff. So who am I? Okay, who is speaking to you? My name is Misty Hassenstab. If you scan that QR code, you will get my contact information. You'll get a little digital contact card that has everything to get connected with me, phone number, email, all my social media sites, and a Calendly link if you want to connect that way as well. Also, all the websites for my programs and mastermind that I lead. So I have been doing investing, like I said, since November of last year for 7 years. We started in November 2016. My husband and I are a little crazy, and we jumped full time into real estate investing. We left corporate America. We were done working for somebody else, working a million hours for somebody else and having somebody else determine, you know, our worth and value. We were just done. So we left corporate. We traveled for about 4 or 5 months. And then we moved to Texas because we knew Texas had a very strong real estate market. So those of you that are here in Texas, I think I saw some people in Florida. You're in great markets. We love the Texas market. There's not usually a ton of highs and lows like some of the coastal, you know, California or New York that we see. And so we have been here since then, and we absolutely love it. And we will always be doing projects here. We will always have properties here. We love Texas. We love the Houston area. And so, you know, we want to share everything that we've learned over the last 7 years. So we've done a little bit of everything, kind of like what I shared. And one thing I'm extremely passionate about is really helping other people, you know, move forward. If you're feeling stuck, whether it's mindset, whether it's money, fear of failure, fear of success, lack of real estate investing knowledge, like you can do any of it, right? But we have to make sure that you have the proper support, resources, education to actually take action to move forward. Okay. And if money is a thing that's been holding you up, then definitely be tuning in. I launched the Her Mindset Matters REI program and group with another co-founder back in July 2020. Now I solely manage it on my own. And I also launched the Master Your Mindset community and mastermind for female entrepreneurs in July of last year. And it's been so exciting. We have over 100 or almost 160 members in our Her Mindset Matters REI tribe. And in our mastermind, we have 14 members. And we're growing ourselves and our businesses all together. I also was a co-founder in the Women's Real Estate Investor Alliance, the Houston chapter, and I'm a managing partner, obviously, in our real estate businesses, Guideway Investment Partners, LLC, and Elevated Development. I'm also a mama of a beautiful baby girl. She's not that small anymore, but I seriously love that picture so much. She turns 2 in April. And one thing that I love about the business that I've built is the flexibility that I've created for myself. She had to be home with mama yesterday because she wasn't feeling well. And it really just is such a blessing that I'm able to really be there for her in that way and just be such a hands-on mom. That was a big reason why I got into becoming an entrepreneur and real estate investing. And also having partnerships with others so that you can take the day to take care of your little one if you need to. So leveraging those partnerships in all types of ways, not just on the money front. So, all right, let's dive in. Enough about me, but please do feel free to scan that QR code. I would love to connect with each and every one of you if I'm not already connected with you. Okay. So we're going to talk step 1 here. Know your skill sets and your strengths. Like I said, this is something that I don't feel like is talked about enough. And I know people get so intimidated. Well, Misty, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, right? And that is true. So what can you bring to the table if not money? And one rule of thumb here, it's a very general rule of thumb, okay, is when you have a deal on the table, let's just say there's a flip opportunity, okay? It's 30-30-30 rule. Typically, 30% of the profit would go to the person that brings the deal. So the person that goes, launches the marketing campaign, is talking to the seller, getting it under contract, did all the negotiations, right? Now they have the deal. 30% would then go to the person funding the deal. So maybe you bring in a private money lender, you know, that's going to equity partner with you. Okay. So you're not paying percent and points here. They're equity partnering with you. They would also get 30% of the profit. And then 30% would go to the person that's managing the deal. So the rehab, right? For example, for flipping a property, the boots on the ground, hiring, managing all of the contractors, you know, subcontractors, whatever needs to happen, permitting, design, all of that stuff. So again, this is a very general rule of thumb, but I just wanted to put it out there because you could think about, well, I don't have money, but I could bring a deal. Well, I don't have money, but I could manage the rehab or whatever, right? Or the rental. So these are different ways. And look, you get 30% of the profit either way. Maybe you even do both of those things. You bring the deal and you manage the rehab and you get 60% of the profit. There's so many people that are new to real estate investing that feel like they have nothing to offer and will take nothing on a deal just to learn. I am all for learning. It is part of the process, and maybe you do take a smaller cut. But what I want to share with you is that you do have value to offer. Okay. So maybe you should be getting more than 0%. I would say absolutely. If you're providing some value to the deal in some way, shape, or form, then you absolutely should be getting some piece of equity in that deal. Okay, maybe it's not going to be a ton in the beginning, and that's okay. That's what we did in the beginning. We partnered for a smaller piece of equity, and you grow that and you grow that and you grow that. The more experience that you have, the more that you can provide. And maybe you can provide some money in a deal, after you've done a few flips. Okay, but I just want to put this in your brain that you have value even with zero real estate investing experience. Okay, so let's move on to what that looks like. Well, what are you good at, right? What are your strengths? What can you bring to the table? What can you pull over, maybe from your W-2, right? Corporate, from being a mom, right? I have to juggle a lot of things as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. And so, organization, right? Or I'm a big people person. I could talk to anybody. If you know me, you know this is totally me. I can literally talk to anybody. I have no problem walking up to a door knocking, cold calling, going up to strangers at networking events. I love people. You know how many people I met at networking events that were terrified of walking up to a door of somebody facing foreclosure, that were terrified of talking to, other, private money lenders or other investors? Like, they could utilize my skill set, right? Of me being good with people and loving people. Okay. Are you good with numbers? This was a huge benefit on my husband. Is still wonderful with numbers. He is civil engineering background, total math and science geek. So I'm the people side, he's the number side, right? So are you good with that? Can you dedicate time to be the boots on the ground? Can you babysit subcontractors? That's a very valuable thing, right? That was one thing we could provide with some of the investors that we worked with that had full-time jobs when we were doing real estate investing full-time. Like I mentioned, we jumped in full-time. And so we could be that boots on the ground to manage those projects. Can you find and bring deals? Can you go out there, launch marketing campaigns, knock on doors, make cold calls, put up bandit signs, send mailers to bring deals to buyers that could fund those deals for you? Are you good at negotiating? This was one thing that I was terrified of in the beginning, and now I feel like I'm a master negotiator. And I got better, obviously, as time went on. But in the beginning, I brought in other partners and I would watch them negotiate. I also got coaches. I took programs and classes to help me become a better negotiator. So is that something you're just naturally good at? Or maybe you're at that point where you're like, hey, I've mastered negotiations. That is something that's very, very, very valuable. Okay. Are you good at project management? Right? That's pretty similar to kind of being the boots on the ground. So these are really big skill sets that are very, very important in a real estate investing project or business. So I'd love to see in the chat, what are some strengths that you guys have that you feel very confident about that you could, and when you introduce yourself, to a private money lender, to another investor, to a potential partner, you could lead with that, right? We don't want to lead with, oh, I'm new and I don't know anything about real estate investing. Right? You don't want to hide that you're new, but let's lead with some of our strengths. So go ahead and share in the chat what some of your strengths are. Perfect. Lisa, master negotiator. I love it. Okay. So think through this. Where can you borrow? I like to say borrow some skill sets or confidence in other areas of your life to plug into your real estate investing business. Okay. People person, organization, project management. Love it. Awesome. Okay, so again, this is how my husband and I really utilized I was an HR manager, business and HR manager back in corporate America, and he had experience in civil engineering, construction, and project management. So we really utilize that. That is how we introduced ourselves at networking events, not, oh, we're new and we don't know what we're doing, right? So again, what can you utilize? Perfect. Project management, recruiting contractors, organized and project management, awesome AR clerk. I love all this, guys. See, there's so much value between all of you right now. You could all do a massive, awesome project together. So, okay, we've talked about skill sets. We talked about, and I definitely encourage you to go deeper on that. So step 2, let's talk about how to build solid relationships with other investors and private money lenders, okay? This is very important. I would say just in general, even if you just want to like scale your business, it's really difficult to do this on your own. And let me just tell you, it's way more fun when you have people that you're doing it with, like-minded people that you're doing it with. So what are some key components to building these relationships, right? Network your little booty off, okay? When we got started, we found any and every networking event that we could literally go to because you learn. Usually there is some information that's shared, education that's shared, obviously at these networking events, and you're meeting a bunch of people, okay? Sometimes they're new people like you. A lot of times they're actually more experienced investors. So we literally networked like crazy every chance that we could get. And that is how we found our first flip. That is how we got brought into our first new construction projects. That is how we found our business partners in elevated development. That is how we found all of the private money that funds all of our projects. So see the power of networking? I mean, huge, right? So be intentional about your networking goals. I always encourage the women that I coach and mentor to set intentions and goals before they actually attend a networking event. So maybe your goal is to find a private money lender to fund one of your potential flips. Maybe it's to find end buyers because you're a wholesaler. You know, maybe it's to find somebody who is doing new construction and you want to get into doing that. Maybe you're the private money lender that's looking to put some money somewhere, right? So what are your intentions before you go to that networking event, and make sure you don't leave that networking event until you are finding the people that you are intentionally going there to find. So be upfront, honest, and direct about what you're looking for and needing in your REI business. Networking events are kind of like speed dating, right? You don't want to spend too much time with one person because then you might miss some opportunities to meet and greet with other people. If you really love talking to one person, then, exchange information, follow up with them the next day. I always, always, always recommend following up within 24 hours. This is something people don't do enough of, either with a call, text, or email, and thank them for, your conversation, and maybe even mention something about the conversation that you had so they know that you paid attention. And then set up a coffee date, set up a lunch date, set up a happy hour date, set up a dinner date, whatever. That's where you can take the relationship and getting to know each other a little bit further. But this initial interaction should be short and sweet. Okay, so let's be straightforward. Please don't introduce yourself as a newbie. This was a mistake my husband and I made when we first started going to all these networking events, and nobody wanted to talk to us. So we regrouped and we're like, okay, how can we introduce ourselves? So he started introducing himself as a former civil engineer with a lot of construction and project management experience. And I introduced myself as a former HR and business manager that loves people, that has all the time in the world to go find deals, to manage projects, all of that. So that is how we led with our strengths, right? We had people lined up to talk to us once we started doing that. So please take that note down. If you take away anything from this part of the presentation about building relationships, lead with your strengths and be very confident in what you're sharing, okay? Don't say you're a newbie, right? You're not being dishonest about your experience. If somebody asks you, you be very honest about that, but just don't stand up and be like, I'm new, right? Join a program or community of like-minded investors. My husband and I joined a program and community when we first got started 7 years ago. I've joined many other programs and communities since then, and now I lead a few communities and programs myself. They're very powerful when you can connect with like-minded people and do deals together, team up on marketing campaigns together. There's money in there. There's, just experience, education. It just feels better when you have like-minded people around you. A lot of the women that I coach and mentor are building this business on their own. They're either single or their husbands are not involved. And so having that tribe around them, having that circle of influence really makes a big difference. So I definitely encourage that. Please make sure you vet anyone interested in partnering with you, and vice versa. They should be vetting you, right? We want to make sure we trust our gut on this. And I'm gonna go into a little more detail about this as well. But you do want to vet them, right? You want to vet them like you're vetting a potential real estate investing deal. You don't just jump into a real estate, investment opportunity. You do due diligence, you run comps, you run numbers, right? You're going to want to do the same thing with people. Ask for references. What type of experience do you have? Who have you worked with? Can I talk to them? Do you have an active project that I can actually go walk? Okay, so make sure that you are doing your proper due diligence on anybody that you partner with. I have not. I will tell you, in the beginning, we were jumping into stuff that we probably shouldn't have because we were excited, and it didn't always go great. And so I definitely have learned from that. So please make sure that you are vetting anybody that you're doing any sort of partnering with. Okay, step 3. So how do we actually joint venture and partner with these vetted investors and private money lenders? And I say preferably experienced, especially if you are new. It's always ideal to partner with somebody with a little bit more experience. Again, you might be giving up more piece of the pie because they're going to be managing more or bringing more to the table, but it's totally worth it. We 100% did this in the beginning and it was 100% worth it. So what is an actual joint venture? This can be a business arrangement in which 2 or more parties, pool their resources, like including their expertise, their money, if they have teams of people, right, of the purpose of accomplishing a specific task, right? Building a house, flipping a property, turning a property into a rental, right? It can be a new project or it can actually be another business activity. We have many partners on all of our projects, and then we also have business partners in our actual businesses. So it can be 2 different things. In a joint venture, each of the participants is responsible for profits, losses, and costs associated with it, okay? So that's the difference between working with a private money lender as an equity partner and working with a private money lender as just a lender, right? The equity partner is also responsible for profits, losses, and costs, where a private money lender is probably just lending you a certain amount at a certain interest percent and points. So they're expecting a return regardless if you mess up on the rehab or not, right? So that's the difference. We've definitely done both, where we've borrowed money at interest and points, and then we've also done a lot of partnering where our private money lenders are actually they're equity partners in the deal. It all depends on the deal, on which way that you want to go. Sometimes the deal structure, it will only make sense one way or another, okay? So that's some information about joint ventures. I hope I'm not going too fast. Sorry, guys. So these can be, right, what I talked about, residential projects, right? You can partner on flips. I partner on wholesale deals with a lot of the women that I coach and mentor. Obviously, new construction, we have partners on all of our projects. Big or small, we've literally partnered on every single thing that we've done. I can't think of one transaction that we haven't actually partnered on, to be totally honest. You can even partner on buy and hold, right? Whether it's long-term, short-term, mid-term, and commercial projects, obviously multifamily, new construction or development there. I have a lot of investor friends that team up on mobile home parks. Self-storage is a great investment opportunity because guess what? It's just a box. You have tenants, but they're not living in it. It's really nice. But those are some examples. You can partner on businesses, marketing campaigns. A lot of our tribe members team up and cold call together, go door knocking together. They utilize, things like list providers or comp analysis or things like that as partners as well. So they're both investing in what they are receiving in regards to their marketing and setting up their businesses. You can be passive or active in these partnerships. So all the private money lenders in our new construction projects are passive. They are not out there swinging hammers. They are not out there picking finishes. They are not out there managing our subcontractors. They're not out there, you know, getting permits and doing design. They typically have IRA money, most of them, and they say, here you go, Misty and Jason. I just want a return. And then ideally, when we give it to them, we hope that they go, here you go, do it again, right? That means you've done a good job and they want to do more projects with you. So that's more passive, okay? That's kind of like the mailbox money part of it. If you're active, which is what my husband and I do, we're the ones actually boots on the ground. We're finding the deals, we're getting everything ready, we're managing all the construction, we're managing the agents when we sell them, we're, you know, whatever it is, like we are the active side of it, okay? And that's how we have not needed to put any money into our deals, because we are the boots on the ground, right? So we just bring in the passive money and execute. Okay, I'm trying to keep an eye on the questions and everything too. I don't see anything yet. So how do you know when to JV, right? So I always say when you're brand new to real estate investing, I joint venture with a lot of the women that I coach and mentor. There's a lot of hand holding, a lot of education that's shared, you know, walk them through the whole process. And again, we did that in the beginning when we got started as well. When there's value that someone else can and should bring. Okay, maybe you've never done a flip before, kind of like Natalie and Maria. They'd never done a flip before, so they brought in Cami and Kyle, who have a ton of experience flipping properties, and they learned along the way, and they got a piece of equity, right? So what is some value that someone else can bring? When you can actually bring that value, right? So now that I'm more experienced, I can bring a lot of value to newer investors, just like more experienced investors brought value to me when I was new. So if you can bring that value, just like all those amazing skill sets and strengths that you guys shared in the chat, I mean, if y'all see stuff that correlates with each other, connect, right? You can bring value to each other. And then when it makes sense and aligns with when the opportunity is right for you. So this goes in line with the last one, when it makes sense and aligns with your short-term or long-term goals. Not every joint venture opportunity or real estate investing opportunity is an actual opportunity for you, okay? This is how people can kind of get shiny object syndrome, you know, become like squirrel, you know, is there's a lot of different avenues you can go in real estate investing, and I absolutely love that. But you got to be careful, because if you try to jump to too many different things, especially early on, you're going to find you're not going to get very far on any of them. And I speak from experience on that. We had to really hone in and focus. And when we said, what do we really enjoy doing? New construction and development. That is the only thing that we focus on now. We don't do flips. We don't we have one rental. But we are strictly focused on new construction and development. Okay. So that's it. Just be mindful of that. Okay. Make sure it aligns with your short-term and your long-term goals. Not every opportunity is the right opportunity for you. Okay. So important JV things to remember. Okay. And I see a question. Do you use certain agreements to JV, or do you have an attorney draft one? Great question. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that right now. Yes, we do use certain agreements to joint venture. We have different types of agreements depending on the different types of projects and joint ventures that we have. And we have used attorneys. We don't always use attorneys. If it's a really complex project with a lot of different, you know, moving parts and partners, then we will use an attorney. But we've gotten pretty good at drafting these because we've done so many of them that we just kind of have the same. Now we have a template and we just kind of revise that. And I'll talk a little bit about what goes into these joint venture agreements right now. So again, you're always going to want to vet your potential partners, right? Make sure it's a good fit. You know, it's kind of like you're getting married. It's a legally binding contract. So, you know, we want to make sure it's somebody that you want to be spending time with and doing business with, and you're in alignment with. You always want to have that signed contract in place. In the contract, this is really important, is you want to determine very specific roles and responsibilities prior to signing the contract to make sure everybody agrees to it. Right? Because if you have somebody that's supposed to be the boots on the ground and they're like, wait a minute, whoa, I don't have time to go manage, you know, subcontractors and do all of that. So you always want to make sure everybody agrees to it. Put it in the contract and have it spelled out very clearly so that if somebody is not delivering on their roles and responsibilities, you can pull out that contract and say, hey, you agreed to do this. This is not happening. We need to revisit your involvement in the project, our equity split, whatever it is. You need to be able to hold people accountable. But if you have nothing in writing that states that they agreed to that, they could just say that, right? Well, I didn't know, right? So you want to make sure everything is very clearly stated in those contracts. You always also want to have language in the contract of how the joint venture will be dissolved, right? So for example, my Her Mindset Matters REI program, I started it with another co-founder, and she's amazing. She's my first one-on-one coach. And she just had to, leave the program and community to take care of some family stuff. There was no ill will. It was, and so we had language in our joint venture of how that was going to work if one of us decided, hey, we can't or we don't want to continue forward, right? It was totally, like there was no issues. There was no, now we've been in projects where, things in the beginning weren't clearly stated, and it made it a lot more difficult to remove people from the project. And we definitely don't want to get into a place where it's attorneys and lawsuits and all of that. And so as long as it's clearly stated in the contracts, you should not need to get to that point, okay? Involve an attorney if you feel it's necessary. Absolutely. If that makes you feel more comfortable, then definitely involve an attorney and have the attorney draft everything up for you. Know the value that you yourself are bringing to the partnership and never let that waver. Don't let somebody talk you out of the value or equity that you're receiving because you don't have the experience, right? Stand, freaking strong with those skill sets because they mean something. And then always, 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 I will say always, infinity, trust your gut. Okay. We have very strong gut intuitions. And when your gut is talking to you, listen. Okay. I have not listened to my gut and it backfired. And so now every time my gut tells me something, I'll go to my husband and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. My gut's trying to tell me something. I hope I'm wrong, because I would rather it come out and I be proven wrong than me not say anything and then I'm right. Okay. So always trust your gut. It's telling you something for a reason. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick breakdown because everybody's always like, how do you know how to break down your joint venture deals? So the wholesale deals, and I'm going to show the flip one too. Our new construction is on a very specific project by project basis. So we don't have a general breakdown for that. But I partner on wholesale deals all the time. And this is how I've broken it down. So, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, Misty, I got this, I got this lead, let's just say, and I need you to come on the appointment with me. I need help with deal analysis. I need help with negotiation, getting it under contract, and I need help bringing a buyer. This is very common for the new investors that I coach and mentor, or just new investors coming to me wanting support. Cool. I'm happy to do all of that. So the equity split there is you would get 30%, I would get 70%. Okay. Because your marketing found the deal. And then I'm helping you along the way, and I'm showing you every step of the way what I'm doing. You're not, you are part of all the conversations with seller, the negotiations, how everything goes through title, reviewing the HUD, how you interact with the buyer. I mean, all of that. You're learning everything, and you still get 30%. Now, let's say roles are reversed and you bring me a deal that you have under contract and you're like, hey, I just need help finding a buyer, right? I did all the work up front. I just need help finding a buyer. Cool. So now you get 70%, I get 30%. Okay. So we've broken it down in these percentages to make it very fair and consistent across the board. So I send this to people that I'm joint venturing with so they know what the expectation is. I've never had anybody be upset about it at all. Everybody says this is actually very fair, and I appreciate how clear and concise it is. So the same thing happens with a flip, right? Or you're rehabbing a project, just a little bit different in the breakdown there. So there's just an example of, if somebody just is doing the marketing and we have to come in and do everything else, we're going to expect a much bigger piece of the pie because a flip is obviously a much bigger project than just a wholesale deal. Okay. And then vice versa. So we've broken it down line by line here as well as to who's bringing what value to the table. So Feel free to screenshot, save, use, whatever you would like to do with that. Okay, so really quickly, I'm going to go over how to build your own capital through wholesaling. This is something that a lot of new investors like to do in the beginning. I love wholesaling. It's a great way to get your feet wet without taking on a bunch of risk, right? Because you're learning how to find properties, negotiate with sellers, run numbers, and then you don't have to be the one to purchase the property and flip it or hold it as a rental and become a landlord. So it's kind of giving you that confidence to then, hey, maybe you wholesale 5 deals and you're like, hey, Misty, now I'm ready to like this next one coming in. I wanna do it. I want to flip. I want to turn it into a rental. So you're kind of getting your feet wet before you're like fully diving in. This is a great way to build capital. This is actually how I put food on our table and a roof over our head. When we jumped into our new construction projects, we were only equity. Okay, I wouldn't do that again either, mind you. Now we structure it differently where we have a developer fee coming in, a monthly developer fee, and also equity. So maybe we're taking a smaller piece of equity, but we want that monthly developer fee because how else do you live, right? Like we didn't have jobs. We were doing real estate investing full time, and we were kind of told, hey, you only do equity splits with your partnerships, and you know, that is not the case. You can structure it any way that you want. And so now we do monthly developer fees and equity. So during that time, I didn't want to go back to work. And so I started wholesaling deals. And this is how I brought income into our family and our business. So wholesaling is when you get a property under contract and then you assign that interest in that, you know, property over to an end buyer. Okay. And you collect a wholesale or assignment fee. So I go get the property at 123 Main Street under contract for $90,000. I assign my interest over to an end buyer for $100,000. The difference between the two is a $10,000 wholesale fee or assignment fee that I get at closing. Okay, so that's what wholesaling is. So here's just some key things to remember. You want to check to make sure it's legal to wholesale wherever you are. Obviously, in the state of Texas, I know that it's legal here. I can't speak for any other states. It's pretty much legal everywhere, knowing because I coach women all over the country. I haven't really come across a state or county or city where it isn't. I did hear they were trying to make it illegal in Pittsburgh at one point because unfortunately, there were not so great wholesalers taking advantage of sellers and dragging them along and not delivering. So just always make sure it's legal. So they were trying to require people to get a real estate license to wholesale in some places. Make sure you're using appropriate legal contracts, right? With your seller, and then you have another contract with your buyer. One of the things I do is share all the contracts that we use in our business on all of our projects, wholesale deals, how we analyze deals, all of that with the women that I coach and mentor to make it, you know, like, why do they need to recreate stuff if I already have it, right? So just make sure you're using legal contracts, legally binding contracts with the seller and the buyer. Make sure you're determining the proper exit strategy for the deal, right? So is this a good flip? Is this a good rental? And marketing that deal property, the more exit strategies, the better. If you could do multiple things with it, cool. But this, when you market it that way, it shows buyers that you know what you're doing, that you completed the due diligence, you understand this is a good flip opportunity, and it helps you market it. And then, you know, do you have buyers for this deal, right? Maybe you need to JV with someone. If you don't, and I always say 1% of a deal is better than none. That's why so many people have joint ventured with me, because I built up a really good, reliable buyers list. So they'll come to me and say, hey, I'm struggling a little bit. Can you help me bring a buyer? When I'm doing that, mind you, I am doing all of my due diligence as well. I don't just say, okay, sure, let me send this to my buyers list. I'm running all the comps. I'm asking for the contracts. I'm making sure everything that is being shown to me and said to me is legitimate. And if there needs to be some adjustment on price, you better believe I'm going to say that, because I'm not going to hurt my reputation by sending a crap deal out to my buyers. Okay. And you shouldn't either. So make sure you are completing your due diligence as a joint venture in those wholesale deals as well. Make sure you are marketing that deal properly, right? Please don't overinflate the ARV and underinflate the rehab. Be honest, be conservative. This is one of the things that people actually really don't like about wholesalers is one, they don't give enough information, they overinflate the ARV after repair value, and they underinflate the rehab. And if you run your numbers properly and you present that to buyers, they will be chomping at the bit to work with you. I have buyers reach out to me constantly asking for deals because they know I know what I'm doing. I've had buyers buy properties from me sight unseen because they know I know what I'm doing. Okay, so make sure you market that deal properly and you will not have competition because there's not enough wholesalers out there doing it the correct way, in my opinion. So that's one thing I take a lot of pride in when I'm teaching the women that I coach and mentor how to wholesale. You better believe we're doing it the right way. And they're building up their buyers list and and then they don't need me. They can go do deals all on their own. Please never market the property under contract to end buyers as for sale. You don't own this property, okay? You want to market it as I'm assigning my interest in the property located at 123 Main Street. If you say this house is for sale, right, that's implying you own it and that's illegal. So please make sure when you're sending any marketing out to end buyers for a property you have under contract is that you're assigning your interest in that property, okay? Please make sure you vet potential buyers, right? Make sure they're not what we call daisy chainers in the industry. Definitely had that happen to me where I thought I was talking to a potential buyer and they're like, oh, by the way, I'm not the buyer, but I have a buyer and I want 50% of your wholesale fee. And honestly, I wouldn't care if they would have just been upfront and honest with me about it, but they were kind of sneaky and I don't appreciate that. I don't do business with sneaky people. So make sure you're vetting that they are real buyers, right? Complete your own due diligence, right? Ask the buyer for a non-refundable deposit. So I typically will ask for anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, depending on the deal. That gets sent directly to the title company and goes into escrow. Okay. If you don't require a non-refundable deposit, the buyer can just walk away from the deal at any time with no consequences. And we definitely don't want that. Especially if you're trying to stop a family from foreclosure, which is a lot of what I did when I was wholesaling and still do. A lot of the women that I work with are doing that. So we don't want to be messing around with that. That's a very serious thing. You always want to have the buyer sign an assignment of contract. Okay. So this is between you and the buyer. You have your contract with buyer and seller, and then you have your contract with you and the buyer. All of these contracts goes to the title company. And again, I have an assignment of contract that I share with the women that I work with, and it outlines everything. Do not continue to advertise your deal to any other end buyers or show the property after the non-refundable deposit has been received and the assignment of contract has been signed. Okay, that locks up the deal. So please don't try to get backup, whatever. That's if the buyer goes away for some point, cool, you can reach out to the people that had expressed interest, but don't continue to show the property, and that's not the ethical way to do business. But until then, it is fair game. So if somebody signs the assignment of contract but is dragging their feet on sending the non-refundable deposit, I will continue showing that property and marketing that property because it hasn't been locked up yet. And then I always suggest using an investor-friendly title company that understands wholesale deals, assignment of contracts, sub-twos, owner financing, all of that, so that they understand the types of transactions that you do. So, okay. So I do see another question. Thoughts about someone asking me to deposit earnest money to a personal account rather than send to title. Great, great, great question. Absolutely not. Do not ever send money to a personal account on a deal because we don't know where that money is going and if you're going to see it again. I always use a title company. I always go through the title company for everything because it's going in escrow. There's documentation. If you send $5,000 off to somebody's personal account, the likelihood is you're probably never going to see that $5,000 again. And if somebody is asking you that would be my gut telling me, shady. No, thank you. So definitely do not be sending earnest money to a personal account. Always go through a title company. I will say, in full disclosure, I have had buyers hand me a cashier's check for their earnest money, but these are buyers that I had done multiple deals with and that very much trusted me. I've only had it happen once or twice. And it was not a new buyer. I wasn't new to them. We had done multiple deals together. So that did happen. But all my other wholesale deals everything has been wired to title, or they go drop off the cashier's check at the title office. So, so I did want to say that, but that was because of very established relationship, and we were friends too, like, so, but still, in my opinion, you should always go through a title company for every transaction. So good question. Okay. Any other questions that I can answer? No? Cool. Okay. So what's next, right? Well, next would be, it's time to take action. Okay. Take all of this amazing information and go and take action, build those relationships, go to networking events, introduce yourself, share your strengths, connect with private money lenders, go find deals. Maybe you want to start with wholesaling, all of that. The whole point of this is I want to give you this amazing information for you to actually go and use it. Okay. Now, I do understand I probably overloaded you a little bit with some of this information. It is a lot to digest, and some people do prefer more in-depth breakdown. They want some more hand-holding. They want some more real estate investing education. They want a community, they want a program, they want a coach. So if that's something you would like to chat about, then I definitely invite you to scan the QR code that's going to take you directly to my Calendly link and schedule your free discovery call with me. Okay. It's just for us to hop on, get to know each other, chat through some of the things that you're wanting to, work through in your business, work on in your business, any goals that you have, maybe some obstacles that are in your way. And let's see if us working together in some capacity might make sense to help you achieve those goals, because you really don't want another year to go by where you don't take action on building your real estate investing business. Okay, we're throwing all the excuses out the window, especially the money one, right? We don't need a money tree in our backyard. We've established that today. So if there's any other things besides that, or you want more support in regards to this, please reach out, right? So reach out, connect with me. I'd love to see how we can work together and, grow your business, grow yourself, grow your business. There's no time like the present, and we're never guaranteed a tomorrow. So I definitely encourage everyone to do that. And I just wanted to kind of leave with a quote that, here we go, with a quote that we kind of live by in our tribe. Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you, spend a lot of time with them, and it will literally change your life. No one is here today because they did it on their own. When I say our partners and the people that we do business with are like family, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. There's actually a couple of them, a handful of them actually on this Zoom right now, and they literally are like family to my husband and I. And so when you have that support and you have that community, not only can you do more real estate deals, but it's just way more fun. So make sure you have that around you to support you, to grow your business, and just go for it. Literally go for it, because the sky's the limit. I truly believe anybody is capable of anything that they put their heart, mind, body, soul, brain, whatever to. And, I just get out there and do it. And if you need any additional support, then please do scan this link, and I would love to connect with you. I think that's all I got. Oh, thank you, Pam. I love you. So I think that's all that I have for today, unless there are some last minute questions that I can answer. You're welcome, Elizabeth. You're welcome, Elise. Thank you so much for spending your lunch break with me. I love it. Hey, Lynette, you're welcome, girl. Can't wait to start working one-on-one with you next week. Ooh, so excited. Thank you. I love it. Rachel, you're the best. All right. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if I can end it. I'm going to go ahead and stop share. And then I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. So again, I'll just do quick, any last minute, anything. And I don't know if Real Estate IQ wants to pop on and say anything, but is there anything else I can help you guys with? Hey, Jen. Awesome. You're welcome. Thanks for all the engagement, everybody. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, okay. Caitlin, you got a question? When betting. Awesome, Carla. I can't wait to connect with you. You're welcome, Lisa. I'm going to hang on for Caitlin's question, and you guys are welcome to as well. What are some things partners should look for in you? So obviously, I think it's the strengths thing. When we particularly, we knew that we had the experience to be the boots on the ground. So we were looking for more of the money side of things. We wanted to connect with private money lenders that understood new construction and wanted to be involved in deals that, you know, we're going to take a little bit longer too, right? So we're building 6 units, 12 units, 10 units at a time type thing. So we wanted to connect with them, that they understood all of that. We wanted to make sure that it, you know, we balanced each other out. Like even in our business relationships and partnerships, we wanted to make sure we were balancing that out. So we were looking for people with more of a financial background, because we were bringing all the skill sets in regards to, you know, managing the projects, building the projects, those sorts of things. So it just kind of depends on what you yourself are bringing to the table, and then you can ask yourself, what would really help you, you know, excel? What are you missing, right? Is it money? Is it experience? Is it more education? You know, just working with a more experienced investor. What specifically are you missing so that you can seek that out while you are networking? And hopefully other people are doing the same, right? So other people are thinking the same thing of, wow, I really need a private money lender for this deal. I need somebody with more experience than I have to help me flip it. I need a buyer because I have a wholesale deal, you know. So just make sure you're really kind of in tuned with what you need, and just I always just say be yourself, right? Don't try to put on a front. Just be you, because that's how you're going to connect with people. If you put on a front that's not really you, it's tough for people to feel like, okay, I could be partners with this person and do a deal. You don't really know them. So just be you and be honest, but definitely lead with those strengths, and, you know, get straight to the point when you're talking to other people to see what kind of strengths and skill sets they have to offer. So I hope that helped, Caitlin. Definitely reach out to me if you want to chat more about that. Elizabeth, which CRM do you use or recommend? We've used a few different CRMs. I will say one that I really like is Podio. I've used Podio for years now, and it's free up until, well, it was, I don't know now. I pay $9 a month now because I have too much information in my Podio once you plug in so much information. And I use it for my real estate investing business and my coaching business, which I really like. You can plug people into the workspaces. You can craft very specific workspaces that you want. So like, for example, I had a workspace for my pre-foreclosure leads. I had a workspace for my non-owner occupied leads. I had a workspace for my probate leads. I have a workspace for all my coaching clients. You know, those sorts of things. And you can actually duplicate your workspaces too. So I would duplicate the pre-foreclosure workspace and have all of that already kind of pre-put together and make it the non-owner occupied, and then just tweak it. So I really like Podio. Zoho is one that we've used that my husband really likes. I think he's going to start using that again for all of our new construction project stuff. You can also just create a spreadsheet that you can manage, and we did that for years. Like we were literally just using spreadsheets and got really specific and had tasks or filters and all of that. So just make sure whatever you're using is something that you actually want to use, right? So that's the whole thing with all these systems and things like that. They're all great and all, but if you're not going to actually use them yourself, then, you know, it's like you're either have a system or you're paying for something that doesn't really matter. So just make sure it's something that you will use. Okay, great. Awesome. Caitlin booked a discovery call. Awesome. Sounds good, girl. Can't wait to chat. How can I scan the code from my screenshot? Oh, I was going to say I can put, if you can scan, so if you, let me share my screen again. If you just change your phone to the camera, and you put it up to the screen here, then you should be able to it should pop up and you should be able to click it, Carla. So try to do that. Try to put on your camera and then do that, and hopefully that will work. And if not, find me on Facebook, reach out to me, and I'll send you a link to my Calendly. I can definitely do that. Elizabeth, any private lenders you recommend? I mean, we definitely have private lenders. I would say I wouldn't feel comfortable giving out all of their contact information. But when I say that we met all of them through networking events, absolutely. Like that is literally where we have met the community that we're a part of, and the networking events that we went to. And actually one of the buyers that I've done, we've probably closed 6 or 7 wholesale deals together. She is actually a private money lender in our new construction projects as well. So that's the cool thing about when you're a wholesaler and end buyers, or these relationships, it can be multifaceted. And I love that. And now she's actually getting more involved actively in our new construction projects because she wants to learn. She doesn't just want to be passive anymore. So my husband is working with her and getting her up to speed on some of the new exciting stuff that we have going on. So find your private money lenders. You know, they're everywhere at networking events. Also, when you do join a community, like we have a bunch of private money lenders in our tribe. And so when you join a community or program like that, you get immediate access to experienced investors that love to partner, that have money, you know, those that have like contractors already lined up, all sorts of stuff like that. So there really is a big advantage to being part of a community like that, or multiple communities. I'm part of multiple communities. These are great questions. Okay, hopefully Carla was able to scan. Anybody else? You're welcome, Elizabeth. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for today. So thank you so much for everything, again, for your time. I hope this was valuable. I'd love to hear in the chat if everybody, you know, hopefully you got some value out of this. I would love to connect with each and every one of you. I could talk real estate literally all day. I could stay on here for the rest of the day. So I'm going to have to cut myself off so that I don't, you know, bore all of you, but I love this stuff. I love supporting other people in their real estate investing journey. So let's connect and let's talk. So anyways, all right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and take care and go out there and take action. Okay. Build those relationships, get that money, get that experience, build these businesses. All right. Okay. Bye, everybody.